The scream that came from the bathroom that morning was not human. It was the kind of sound that makes your blood stop moving. Chioma stood in front of the mirror, her hands shaking so badly she could barely hold on to the sink. Between her legs, crawling on the white tiles, were maggots, living, moving maggots, coming from inside her body. She fell to the floor and everything went black. If you enjoy thrilling African folktale story, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tell us where you are watching from. But let me take you back. Let me show you how a good girl from a struggling family became a woman whose womb was sold to demons. This is Chioma's story, and I promise you, nothing will prepare you for what happened to her. 6 weeks before that terrible morning, Chioma was just another university student trying to survive. She was not the type of girl who chased men or money. She was quiet, serious, always with her books. Her clothes were simple, sometimes the same jeans 3 times a week. While other girls in her hostel were taking pictures with expensive phones and wearing Brazilian hair, Chioma was counting 500 naira notes, trying to see if she could buy both food and credit to call her mother. Her mother. That was where everything started. Mama Chioma had collapsed one evening while cooking. The neighbors rushed her to the general hospital. By the time Chioma arrived, the doctors had already done tests. The news was heavy. Her mother's kidneys were failing, both of them. She needed dialysis 3 times every week and maybe surgery later. The bill was 120,000 naira just to start. Chioma stood outside the hospital that day, the paper with the amount in her hand, and she wanted to die. She checked her bank account on her phone. 4,200 naira. That was all she had in this world. Her father had died when she was 12. There were no uncles with money, no rich aunties abroad, just her and her dying mother. She went back to school the next day like a ghost. Her friend Ada noticed immediately. Ada was the kind of girl who always knew when something was wrong. She was also the kind of girl who always had solutions. Ada was light-skinned, always smelling like expensive perfume, and her nails were always done. She had 3 phones. Nobody asked where her money came from. Everybody knew, but nobody said it out loud. That evening, Ada came to Chioma's room with fried rice and chicken. Chioma had not eaten all day, but she could not swallow the food. She just cried. Ada held her hand and said softly, "Chioma, you cannot kill yourself because of school fees and hospital bills. There are men out there with too much money and nothing to spend it on. Let them help you." Chioma pulled her hand away. She knew what Ada was saying. She had heard these things before. Girls in her hostel whispered about big men who paid their fees, bought them cars, rented them apartments. But Chioma had always told herself she would never do that. Never. Her mother raised her to respect her body, to wait for marriage, to be a good girl. But now, her mother was dying. What is the point of being a good girl if your mother dies because you refuse to help her? Ada saw the war happening inside Chioma's face. She moved closer and whispered, "I know one man, very clean, very generous. He is not like the dirty old men you are thinking about. He is a businessman, still young, very handsome. He just likes smart girls who are not loud. One night, Chioma, just one night, and your mother will live." Chioma did not answer that day, but the question stayed in her head. One night. Could she do it? Could she sell her body one time to save her mother's life? What kind of daughter would she be if she let her mother die when there was a way to save her? 3 days later, Chioma sent a text to Ada. Just 3 words. "I will do it."
Ada replied immediately, "Thank God. I will arrange everything. Just trust me." But what Chioma did not know was that the man Ada was taking her to was not just a businessman. He was something much darker, something that would change her life forever. And Ada knew. Ada had always known. The arrangement happened quickly. Ada told Chioma the man's name was Mr. Emeka. He is based in Lagos, but he comes to town every month for business meetings, Ada explained. He will be here this Friday. Wear something simple but nice, no makeup. He likes natural beauty. Chioma felt sick the whole week. She could not concentrate in class. She could not sleep well. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her mother's face. Mama did not know what her daughter was planning. Mama thought Chioma had found a kind lecturer who agreed to lend her the money. That was the lie Chioma told her. How could she tell her mother the truth? Friday came like a thief. Chioma took her bath 3 times that day. She scrubbed her body so hard her skin turned red. She wanted to wash away the shame before it even happened. Ada brought her a simple black dress, not too tight, not too loose. She also brought red lipstick. Just a little, Ada said. Make your lips shine small. By 8 o'clock in the evening, Chioma was ready. She looked at herself in the mirror and did not recognize the girl staring back. Ada's phone rang. He's waiting downstairs, she announced. Chioma's heart nearly jumped out of her chest. This was real. This was actually happening. They went downstairs together. Parked outside the hostel gate was a black Range Rover with tinted windows, the kind of car that makes people stop and stare. Ada opened the back door and pushed Chioma inside gently. Relax, Ada whispered. Everything will be fine. Inside the car, the air was cold from the AC and smelled like expensive cologne. Sitting in the driver's seat was a man. He turned around and smiled. Chioma's breath caught. The man was indeed handsome. Dark skin, low haircut, neat beard, white teeth. He was wearing a simple polo shirt and jeans, but everything about him screamed money. His wristwatch alone could probably pay for her mother's surgery 10 times over. You must be Chioma, he said, his voice smooth and deep. Ada told me about you. I'm Emeka. Chioma just nodded. Her mouth was too dry to speak. Emeka smiled again, then faced front and started driving. Ada waved from outside. And just like that, Chioma was alone with a stranger she was about to give her body to for money. They drove in silence for almost 20 minutes. Chioma's hands were shaking in her lap. She kept telling herself, one night, just survive one night, for Mama, just for Mama. Finally, they arrived at a hotel. Not just any hotel. It was one of those big ones with tall gates and security men in uniform, the kind of place Chioma had only seen in movies. Emeka parked the car and came around to open her door. He stretched out his hand to help her down. His hand was warm and strong. Chioma took it because she did not know what else to do. Inside the hotel lobby, everywhere was sparkling. Big chandeliers, soft music playing, people in expensive clothes walking around. Chioma felt small. Emeka went to the reception and collected a key card. Then he led her to the elevator. They went up to the 10th floor, the highest floor. The elevator was silent except for the soft jazz music playing. Chioma watched the numbers going up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Each number felt like a countdown to the end of her old life. Room 1012. Emeka opened the door and stepped aside for her to enter first. Chioma walked in and almost gasped. The room was huge. King-size bed with white sheets, flat-screen TV on the wall, a sofa, a table with fruits and wine, and glass doors leading to a balcony with a view of the city lights. This one night was probably more than Chioma's mother earned in 6 months of selling vegetables. Emeka closed the door behind them and locked it. The sound of the lock clicking made Chioma jump. He noticed. Relax, he said softly, walking to the table and pouring wine into 2 glasses. We're just 2 adults spending time together, nothing scary. He handed her a glass. Chioma took it but did not drink. She just held it, staring at the red liquid moving inside. Emeka sat on the sofa and patted the space beside him. Come, sit. Let's talk first. Chioma sat down, but not too close. She left space between them. Emeka laughed softly. You are very afraid. Ada told me you have never done this before. Is that true? Chioma nodded, still not speaking. She was too ashamed. Emeka reached out and lifted her chin gently so she was looking at him. Then I will be gentle, he said. I promise. What happened next, Chioma does not like to remember. He took her glass and put it on the table. Then he moved closer. His hand touched her face, then her neck, then lower. Chioma closed her eyes and went somewhere far away in her mind.
She thought about her mother. She thought about the hospital. She thought about anything except what was happening to her body at that moment. But there was something Chioma did not notice. Before Emeka touched her, he had blown something into her face, a white powder. So small, so quick, she did not even see it. And that powder made everything blurry, made her weak, made her unable to fight even if she wanted to. She does not remember much after that, only pieces. The bed, the pain, his voice saying words she could not understand, and then darkness. When Chioma woke up, the sun was shining through the curtains. Her body was aching everywhere. She was alone in the bed, covered with the white sheets. Her black dress was folded neatly on the chair, and on the table beside the bed was a white envelope, fat and heavy. Chioma sat up slowly, her head pounding. She reached for the envelope with shaking hands and opened it. Inside was money. So much money she had never seen in her life. She counted it twice. 300,000 naira. More than enough for her mother's treatment and even feeding for months. There was also a small note written in neat handwriting. For your mother, you are perfect. I will call you again soon, Emeka. Chioma held the money and cried. Not tears of joy, tears of shame. She had done it. She had sold herself. But her mother would live. That was all that mattered. That was what she kept telling herself as she got dressed and left that hotel room. Her mother would live. She went straight to the hospital that same morning, paid the bills. The nurses were surprised. The doctor started treatment immediately. And for the first time in weeks, Mama Chioma smiled. My daughter, she said weakly from the hospital bed, God has answered our prayers. That lecturer is a good man. May God bless him. Chioma just nodded and smiled, but inside, her heart was breaking. If only Mama knew the truth. If only she knew the price her daughter paid for that miracle. But the miracle came with a curse, and that curse was already growing inside Chioma's body. She just did not know it yet. 2 weeks after that night, Chioma started feeling strange. It began with an itch, not a normal itch. This one was deep inside, like something was moving under her skin. She ignored it at first, thinking maybe it was just infection from the soap she used. But the itch got worse. Then came the smell. A terrible smell that followed her everywhere, like something dead and rotten. She bathed 5 times a day, but the smell would not go away. Other girls in the hostel started avoiding her. They would wrinkle their noses when she passed. Some even whispered that she was dirty. Chioma was confused and embarrassed. She went to the school clinic. The nurse asked her questions. Have you been sexually active? Chioma lied and said no. The nurse gave her antibiotics and fungal cream. Use this for 1 week, she said. If it does not get better, come back. Chioma used the medicine exactly as instructed, but nothing changed. In fact, things got worse. The pain started, sharp pains in her lower stomach that made her bend over and cry. And then the discharge, thick, blackish liquid that soaked through her underwear and stained her clothes. Chioma was terrified. She washed her underwear every night in secret, praying that her roommate Joy would not notice. But how could Joy not notice? The smell was everywhere. One evening, Joy finally said something. Chioma, I'm not trying to be mean, but you need to see a doctor. Something is wrong with you. Chioma was so ashamed she just cried. Joy felt bad and hugged her. Whatever it is, don't hide it. These things can get worse if you don't treat them early. The next day, Chioma went to a private hospital outside school. She used some of the money Emeka gave her. The doctor was an older woman, very serious. She did tests. Blood test, urine test, vaginal swab. Chioma waited for 1 week for the results, praying every night that it was something simple, something curable. But when the results came back, the doctor looked confused. Everything is negative, she said, looking at the papers.
No STDs, no infection, no bacteria. According to these results, you are perfectly healthy. Chioma could not believe it. But doctor, I have pain, I have smell, I have discharge. How can I be healthy? The doctor frowned. Sometimes these things can be psychological. Stress can cause physical symptoms. Are you under a lot of stress? Chioma wanted to scream. Psychological? This was not in her mind. This was real. But she just thanked the doctor and left, feeling more hopeless than ever. If doctors could not find anything wrong, then what was happening to her? The answer came one terrible morning. Chioma woke up feeling a strong urge to use the toilet. She rushed to the bathroom, and as she sat down, another sharp pain tore through her stomach. She looked down into the toilet bowl and froze. What she saw made her scream so loud that every girl on her hostel floor came running. There, in the water, wriggling and alive, were maggots. Fat, white maggots, coming out from between her legs, coming out from inside her body. Chioma screamed until her voice was gone. She tried to stand, but her legs gave way and she collapsed on the bathroom floor. Joy and two other girls broke down the door and found her there, shaking and crying, pointing at the toilet. When they looked inside and saw what was there, they screamed too. One girl fainted, another ran out crying. Joy was the only one brave enough to stay. She grabbed a bucket of water and flushed everything away, then helped Chioma back to the room. "What is happening to you, Chioma?" Joy whispered, her face full of fear. "This is not normal. This is not medical. Chioma, what did you do?" And that was when Chioma finally broke. She told Joy everything. The man, the hotel, the money. Joy listened with her hand over her mouth, shaking her head. When Chioma finished, Joy said quietly, "You need to find Ada right now." Ada had been avoiding Chioma for weeks. Every time Chioma called, she did not pick. Every time Chioma went to her room, she was not there. But that day, after what happened in the bathroom, Chioma was not going to let Ada hide anymore. She waited outside Ada's hostel building for 3 hours. Finally, Ada came back, laughing on the phone with someone. When she saw Chioma sitting on the steps, her face changed. "Chioma, what are you doing here?" Ada asked, trying to sound normal. Chioma stood up slowly. She was too tired to shout. "Ada, I need to talk to you. It's important." Ada looked around nervously. "Okay, but not here. Come inside." They went into Ada's room. It was as fancy as always. New wig on the bed, shopping bags in the corner. Ada's life had not changed at all while Chioma's life was falling apart. Chioma sat down and looked Ada straight in the eye. "Something is wrong with me. Very wrong. And I think that man you took me to did something to me." Ada's face went pale. She sat down slowly. "What do you mean?" Chioma told her everything. The itching, the smell, the pain, the discharge, and finally, the maggots. As she spoke, Ada's hand started shaking. "Oh God," Ada whispered. "Oh God, oh God, oh God." "What?" Chioma demanded. "What is it? You know something. Tell me." Ada was quiet for a long moment. Then she started crying. Real tears. "Chioma, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he would do it to you too. I swear I didn't know." "Do what?" Chioma grabbed Ada's shoulders. "Tell me right now, or I will kill you in this room." Ada took a deep breath. "That man, the one you slept with, his name is not really Emeka. His real name is Chief Dubem Okafor. He is a very powerful man, a billionaire. He owns companies, he knows governors and senators, but he is also into something dark, very dark." Chioma's blood went cold. "What do you mean dark?" Ada wiped her tears. "He is part of a secret group. They do rituals for power and money, and part of their rituals is taking wombs from young girls. Not physical wombs, but spiritual wombs. They use it to get more power, more wealth, more political connections. I have heard stories before, but I thought they were just rumors, until now."
Chioma felt like the world was spinning. You mean he took my womb? How is that even possible? It's spiritual, Ada explained. That powder he blew in your face, it was not just to make you sleep. It was to open your spirit so they could take what they wanted. The maggots you saw, they are not physical maggots. They are a sign that something has been taken from your body spiritually. Chioma, I'm so sorry. Other girls this happened to before. Some went mad, some bled to death, some are still alive but they can never have children. Their wombs are dead. Chioma stood up and slapped Ada so hard that Ada fell off the chair. You sold me, Chioma said, her voice shaking with rage. You sold me like meat to that demon. How much did he pay you? Ada was crying on the floor. 200,000. But I didn't know, Chioma. I swear I didn't know he still did those things. I thought he changed. I'm sorry. Chioma wanted to hit her again, but what was the point? The damage was already done. Her womb was gone, her future was destroyed, all because she wanted to save her mother. She walked to the door, then turned back. Tell me where to find him, she said coldly. I need his full name and where he lives. Ada shook her head. Chioma, you can't fight him. He is too powerful. He will destroy you. He already destroyed me. Now tell me where to find him, or I will make sure everyone in this school knows what you do. I will put your name and face on every social media platform. I will destroy your life the way you destroyed mine. Ada knew Chioma was serious, so she talked. She gave Chioma the full name, Chief Dubem Okafor. She gave her the location, a private estate in the city called Golden Heights, house number 7. And she gave her one more piece of information. He is not just a businessman. He is running for Senate next year. That is why he needed more power. That is why he is still collecting girls. Chioma left Ada's room that day with one thing in mind, revenge. But she also knew she could not fight this battle alone. She needed help, spiritual help. And there was only one person she could think of, her grandmother, Mama Nkiru. Mama Nkiru was her father's mother. She lived in the village, far from the city. She was a traditional woman, the type who knew herbs and roots, who spoke to spirits and ancestors. Mama's mother never liked her because she was too traditional. But right now, Chioma did not care. She needed help, and Mama Nkiru was her only hope. The next day, Chioma told her mother she was going to the village to greet her grandmother. Mama was still in the hospital, but getting better. She did not suspect anything. Chioma took a bus that traveled for 5 hours on bad roads before reaching the village. By the time she arrived, it was evening. Mama Nkiru was sitting outside her small house smoking a pipe. When she saw Chioma walking toward her, she did not look surprised. I have been expecting you, the old woman said in Igbo. Come inside. Chioma was shocked. How did she know? She followed her grandmother into the house. Inside, the room was dark and smelled like herbs. There were clay pots in the corners, dried plants hanging from the ceiling, and strange objects Chioma could not name. Mama Nkiru sat on a low stool and pointed for Chioma to sit on the mat. Grandmother, Chioma began, her voice shaking. Something terrible has happened to me. I know, Mama Nkiru said calmly. I saw it in my dream 3 nights ago. A man in a red wrapper took something precious from you, your womb. Chioma started crying. Yes, Grandma, it's true, and I don't know what to do. I went to the hospital, they said I'm fine, but I'm not fine. I have been seeing things, terrible things coming out of my body. Please help me. Mama Nkiru took a long pour from her pipe, then spoke. The man you are talking about is not an ordinary man. He serves the god of wealth and power. These gods demand sacrifices, young women's wombs and the most valuable sacrifices because they represent life and future. When he took your womb spiritually, he gave it to his gods. In return, they give him success in business and politics. But can I get it back? Chioma begged. Please, Grandma, I want to have children someday. I want to be normal again. Mama Nkiru was silent for a long time. Then she said, there is only one way. The person who took it must return it. But men like him never return what they take willingly. So you must force him. How? Chioma asked desperately. You must confront him directly and make him confess what he did. Then you must take him to the place where he performed the ritual and make his blood touch the ground where your womb was buried spiritually. Only then will the covenant break and your womb return to you. Chioma felt hope for the first time in weeks. But then the fear came back. Grandma, he is a very powerful man. He has security. How can I even get close to him? Mama Nkiru stood up and went to one of the clay pots. She opened it and brought out a small black cloth tied with red thread. Take this, she said. Wear it around your waist. It will protect you from his spiritual attacks and make you invisible to his guards. But you must be brave. If you show fear, the protection will not work. Chioma took the cloth with shaking hands. It felt warm, almost alive. She tied it around her waist under her clothes. Mama Nkiru placed both hands on Chioma's head and prayed in a language Chioma did not understand. When she finished, she looked into Chioma's eyes and said, "Go and fight for what is yours. But remember, this battle is not just physical, it is spiritual. Do not go alone. Take someone with a strong spirit." Chioma thanked her grandmother and left the next morning. On the long bus ride back to the city, she thought about everything. She thought about Chief Dubem. She thought about the ritual. She thought about her womb buried somewhere in the dark, and she made a decision. She was going to get it back, even if it killed her. But first, she needed to find someone brave enough to go with her. And that person was Joy. When Chioma returned to school and told Joy the plan, Joy was terrified. "Chioma, this is crazy. We are just students. How can we fight a billionaire? He will kill us." "Then I will die trying," Chioma said. "But I'm not going to live the rest of my life like this. I would rather die fighting than die slowly with this curse."
Joy looked at her friend and saw something new in her eyes. Not the quiet, gentle Chioma she used to know. This was someone else. Someone who had been pushed too far and was ready to push back. Joy sighed and said, "Okay, I will go with you, but we need a plan." They spent the next 3 days planning. They could not just walk into Chief Dubem's house. They needed a way to get inside without raising suspicion. Then Chioma had an idea. She remembered Ada mentioning that Chief Dubem liked smart, educated girls. What if they pretended to be job applicants? Rich men like him always needed personal assistants, secretaries, people to work in their companies. It was risky, but it might work. Chioma called the number Ada had given her. A woman answered, "Chief Dubem's residence, how can I help you?" Chioma cleared her throat and spoke in her most professional voice. "Good afternoon, ma. My name is Ngozi Arinze. I am a final year student of business administration at the university. I heard Chief is looking for a personal assistant and I would like to apply." There was a pause. Then the woman said, "Where did you hear this?" "From a friend who works in his company," Chioma lied smoothly. "She said Chief prefers to hire young graduates with fresh ideas." Another pause. "Okay, send your CV to this email address. If Chief is interested, someone will call you." Chioma's heart was beating fast. She thanked the woman and hung up. Now they needed to create a fake CV. Joy helped her. They went to a cyber cafe and designed a beautiful CV with a fake name, fake certificate, everything. They sent it to the email address. Now all they could do was wait and pray. 3 days later, Chioma's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered with her heart in her throat. "Hello? Am I speaking with Ngozi Arinze?" a man's voice asked. "Yes, this is she. Chief Dubem reviewed your CV and he is impressed. He would like to meet you for an interview this Friday at his residence, 10 o'clock in the morning. Can you make it?" Chioma almost dropped the phone. It worked. It actually worked. "Yes, sir. I will be there. Thank you." When she hung up, Joy was staring at her. "You got in?" Chioma nodded, but she was not smiling. Now comes the hard part. Friday morning came. Chioma dressed like a serious job applicant. Simple blouse, black skirt, flat shoes, her hair packed neatly. The black cloth from her grandmother was tied around her waist under her clothes.
Joy wanted to come with her, but Chioma said no. If something goes wrong, you need to be outside to call for help. Stay close, but not too close. Chioma took a taxi to Golden Heights Estate. When she arrived at the gate, the security asked for her ID. She showed them and told them she had an appointment with Chief. They made a phone call, then opened the gate for her. House number 7, one of them said. Straight ahead. Chioma walked into the estate with her heart pounding so loud she thought everyone could hear it. House number 7 was massive, 3 stories, painted cream and gold, expensive cars parked in the compound. This was not just wealth. This was the kind of wealth that came from selling souls. Chioma touched the cloth around her waist, reminding herself why she was here. She knocked on the front door. A maid opened it. You are Ngozi? Chioma nodded. Come inside. Chief is waiting in his office. The inside of the house was like a palace. Everything was shining. Marble floors, gold decorations, paintings on the walls. Chioma followed the maid up the stairs to the 2nd floor. They stopped in front of a heavy wooden door. The maid knocked twice. Come in, a voice said from inside. The maid opened the door and Chioma stepped inside. The office was huge. Bookshelves filled with books, a massive desk made of dark wood, and sitting behind that desk was him, Chief Dubem Okafor, the man who destroyed her life. He looked up from his computer and smiled, that same smile from the hotel, that smile that hid a demon. Ngozi, welcome, he said, standing up. Please, have a seat.
Chioma sat down, forcing herself to stay calm. He did not recognize her. Good. That meant the cloth was working. Chief Dubem sat back down and opened a file. Her fake CV. I must say, your qualifications are impressive for someone your age. First-class student, leadership positions, computer skills. Exactly the kind of person I need. Chioma nodded. Thank you, sir. I am very hardworking and I learn fast. They talked for almost 30 minutes. He asked her questions about her background, her family, her goals. Chioma lied smoothly, giving him answers she had practiced with joy. All the while, she was studying him, looking for any sign of the ritual, any sign of where he kept his shrine. Then, she noticed something. On the wall behind him was a painting, but it was not just any painting. Hidden in the design were symbols, the same symbols Mama Nkiru had drawn when praying for her. Are you listening? Chief Dubem asked, and Chioma realized she had been staring. Sorry, sir, I was just admiring that painting. It's beautiful. Chief Dubem turned to look at it, and for a moment his face changed. Something dark passed over his features. That painting is very special to me, he said quietly. It represents the source of my success. Chioma's stomach tightened. This was it. This was connected to everything. She needed to see what was behind that painting. But how? Chief Dubem stood up. I think you will be perfect for this position. My secretary will contact you with the details next week. For now, let me show you around the house so you know the environment. He walked around the desk and headed for the door. Chioma followed him, her mind racing. They went downstairs and he showed her the living room, the kitchen, even the guest rooms. But the whole time, Chioma's attention was on one thing: how to get back into that office alone. Then, luck came her way. Chief Dubem's phone rang. He answered it and his face became serious. I need to take this call, he said to Chioma. Wait here, I will be back in 5 minutes. He walked outside to the balcony, closing the door behind him. Chioma did not waste time. She ran back upstairs, her heart beating like a drum. She pushed open the office door and went straight to the painting. She tried to lift it off the wall, but it was heavy. She pulled harder and finally it moved. Behind the painting was a small door, a secret door. Chioma's hands were shaking as she pulled it open. What she saw inside made her knees weak. It was a small shrine. Red candles, a clay pot filled with something dark, and scattered around the pot were photographs. Photographs of young women. Chioma recognized some of them. Girls from her school, girls who had disappeared or gone mad. And right in the center was her own photograph, the one Adam must have given him. Underneath her photo was a piece of paper with her real name written in blood. Chioma felt tears burning her eyes, but she pushed them back. She took out her phone and started taking pictures. Evidence. She needed evidence. Then she heard footsteps. Heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. Chioma quickly closed the secret door and pushed the painting back into place. She turned around just as Chief Dubem walked into the office.
His face was no longer friendly. His eyes were cold and dark. "What are you doing in my office?" he asked slowly. Chioma's mouth went dry. "Think fast." "I was looking for the bathroom, sir. I got lost." He stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. But this smile had no warmth. "The bathroom is downstairs. I showed it to you myself. So why did you come up here?" Chioma knew she was caught. There was no point lying anymore. She stood up straight and looked him in the eye. "I came here because you destroyed my life. You took something from me and I want it back."
Chief Dubem tilted his head, studying her face. Then recognition dawned. "Chioma," he whispered. "The church girl, the one who did it for her mother." He started laughing, a deep, terrible laugh. "You are brave, stupid but brave, coming into my house like this. Did you really think I wouldn't recognize you eventually?" "Give me back my womb," Chioma demanded, her voice shaking but strong. "I know what you did. I know about your rituals. I know everything." Chief Dubem walked slowly toward her. Chioma wanted to run, but she stood her ground. He stopped just inches from her face. "You know nothing," he said softly. "That womb is gone. I offered it to forces more powerful than you can imagine. And in return, I got everything I wanted. Money, power, influence. Do you know I am going to be a senator next year? All because of girls like you." "You are a monster," Chioma spat. Chief Dubem shrugged. "Call me what you want, but you came into my territory. Now you are going to join the others." He reached for her arm, but the moment his hand touched her, he screamed and pulled back. His hand was smoking, like he had touched fire. He looked at Chioma with shock and rage. "What is this? What are you wearing?" Chioma remembered Mama Nkiru's cloth. It was protecting her. She backed toward the door. "You cannot touch me, and I am not leaving until you return what you stole." Chief Dubem was furious now. He shouted something in a language Chioma did not understand, and suddenly the room went dark. The windows slammed shut on their own. Chioma screamed. This was no longer about just confronting him. This was spiritual warfare. The temperature dropped so fast Chioma could see her own breath. Shadows started moving on the walls, taking shapes, terrible shapes. "You want your womb back?" Chief Dubem's voice echoed from everywhere. "Come and take it if you survive." Chioma ran out of the office and down the stairs. Behind her, she could hear things chasing her, things that were not human. She burst through the front door and kept running. The guards at the gate shouted at her, but she did not stop. She ran out of the estate, her legs burning, her chest hurting. She ran until she found Joy waiting in a taxi nearby. "Drive!" Chioma screamed. "Drive now!" The taxi sped away. Joy was holding Chioma, asking her what happened, but Chioma could not speak. She was shaking too hard. All she could do was show Joy the pictures on her phone, pictures of the shrine, pictures of the other girls, proof that Chief Dubem was a ritualist. But proof was not enough. Chioma needed to finish this. She needed to break the covenant, and to do that, she needed his blood. That night, back in her hostel room, Chioma sat on her bed staring at the ceiling. Joy was asleep beside her, but Chioma could not sleep. Her mind was racing. Chief Dubem now knew she was coming for him. She would be more protected, more dangerous. But Chioma had seen the shrine. She knew where he kept his power, and Mama Nkiru had told her what to do. She needed his blood on the ground where her womb was buried. But where was that ground? She needed to go back and find out. The next morning, Chioma went back to Mama Nkiru. She showed her the pictures from the phone. The old woman studied them carefully, then nodded. "This is worse than I thought. He has taken not just your womb, but the wombs of many girls. This man's power is very strong, but every power has a weakness." "What is his weakness?" Chioma asked desperately. Mama Nkiru pointed at one of the pictures, the clay pot in the shrine. That pot contains all the wombs he has collected. If you can break that pot and spill its contents on the ground,
All the covenants will break at once, but you must do it with his blood. His blood must touch the pot before it breaks. How do I get his blood?"
Chioma asked. Mama Nkiru reached into a small pouch and brought out a needle. Not an ordinary needle. This one was black and had strange markings. This needle is soaked in the poison of truth. If you pierce him with it, even just a small prick, his spiritual protection will break for a few minutes. In those minutes, he will be as weak as any normal man. That is when you take his blood. Chioma took the needle carefully. It was cold in her hand, like it was made of ice. How do I get close enough to him to use this? Mama Nkiru looked at her seriously. You must go back to his house, but this time you do not go as Ngozi. You go as yourself. Tell him you want to make a deal. Tell him you will stop fighting if he pays you to keep quiet. Men like him believe everyone has a price. He will meet with you because he wants to control you. That is when you strike. It was a dangerous plan. If anything went wrong, Chioma would die. But what choice did she have? Live the rest of her life cursed, unable to have children, watching maggots crawl from her body? No, death was better than that. Chioma thanked her grandmother and returned to the city. She called Chief Dubem's number, the same number Ada had given her. He answered after 3 rings. "I was wondering when you would call," he said, his voice smooth and mocking. "Did you enjoy our last meeting?" "I want to make a deal," Chioma said, keeping her voice steady. "A deal? What kind of deal?" "I have evidence of what you do. Pictures of your shrine, names of girls you have destroyed. I can destroy your political career with one social media post, but I am willing to keep quiet if you pay me." There was silence. Then Chief Dubem laughed. "So the church girl has learnt business. How much do you want?" 5 million naira, Chioma said, "and you leave me alone forever." Another pause. "Fine. Come to my house tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. Come alone. If I see anyone with you, the deal is off and you will regret ever being born." Chioma agreed and hung up. Her hands were shaking. Tomorrow evening, everything would be decided. Either she would get her womb back or she would die trying. That night, she called her mother at the hospital. Mama was feeling much better now. "Chioma, my daughter, when are you coming to see me? I miss you." "Soon, Mama, very soon. I just want you to know that I love you. Everything I did because I love you." "I love you too, my child. You are a good daughter. God will bless you." If only Mama knew what her daughter was about to do. Chioma hung up and lay on her bed. She held the black needle in her hand, feeling its cold weight. Tomorrow, she would face the demon who destroyed her. Tomorrow, she would fight for her future. And tomorrow, one of them would not walk away alive. The next evening, Chioma dressed simply, jeans and a t-shirt. The black cloth from Mama Nkiru was tied around her waist. The needle was hidden in her pocket. Joy begged her not to go, but Chioma's mind was made up. "If I don't come back by midnight," she told Joy, "go to the police. Give them the pictures from my phone. Tell them everything." Joy was crying. "Chioma, please, let's just go to the police now. Why do you have to do this alone?" "Because the police cannot fight what is spiritual, and if I don't break this curse now, I will die slowly anyway. At least this way I am fighting." She hugged Joy goodbye and left. The taxi ride to Golden Heights Estate felt like the longest ride of her life. When she arrived at Chief Dubem's gate, the security recognized her. They did not look friendly. "Chief is expecting you," one of them said coldly. "Go straight to the house. Do not wander around." Chioma walked to house number 7. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and red, like blood. The front door was open. Chioma stepped inside and immediately felt the darkness. It was thicker than before, like the house itself was alive and watching her. "Close the door," Chief Dubem's voice called from somewhere upstairs. Chioma closed the door and it locked automatically. Her heart jumped, but she kept walking. She climbed the stairs slowly, her hand in her pocket, gripping the needle. She reached the office. Chief Dubem was sitting behind his desk, just like the first time,
But this time he was not smiling. His face was hard, his eyes cold. "So you came," Chief Dubem said. "I respect that. Most girls in your position will be hiding under their beds by now." "I'm not like most girls," Chioma said. Chief Dubem stood up and walked around the desk. "No, you are not. You are stubborn. Stupid, but stubborn. Do you really think I'm going to pay you? Do you think I'm afraid of your little pictures?" "You should be," Chioma said. "One post on social media and your political career is finished. Your billionaire friends will abandon you. Everyone will know you are a ritualist." Chief Dubem laughed. "Do you know how many people already know what I do? Governors, commissioners, businessmen, they all know. And they don't care because they do the same things. That is how power works in this country. Your pictures mean nothing." Chioma's hope sank. He was right. Who would believe her? Who would care? But she could not back down now. "Then I will post it anyway. Let people see what kind of man you really are." "Go ahead," Chief Dubem said, pulling out his phone. "Post it now. I am waiting." Chioma realized this was a test. He was calling her bluff. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands and opened Instagram. She selected one of the pictures of the shrine. Her finger hovered over the post button. But then she thought about her mother. If she posted this, Chief Dubem would come after her family. He would destroy them. She could not do it. "I thought so," Chief Dubem said, seeing her hesitation. "You are not ready to pay the price. That is why you will never win against me. I am willing to sacrifice anything for power. But you still have weaknesses. Love, family, fear. That makes you weak." "No," Chioma said, putting her phone away. "That makes me human, something you stopped being a long time ago." Chief Dubem's face darkened. "Enough talk. You came into my house threatening me. Now you will pay." He raised his hand and began chanting in that strange language again. The room started to shake. The paintings on the walls began to bleed. Real blood, dripping down. Chioma screamed and stumbled backward. This was it. He was going to kill her. But then she remembered Mama Nkiru's words. "Do not show fear. If you show fear, the protection will not work." Chioma closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She touched the cloth around her waist and felt warmth spread through her body. When she opened her eyes, the room had stopped shaking. Chief Dubem looked surprised. "What is protecting you? What have you done?" Chioma pulled the needle from her pocket. "This," she said, and before he could react, she lunged forward and stabbed him in the arm. The needle went in easily, like his skin was paper. Chief Dubem screamed and fell backward. Black smoke began pouring from the wound. He looked at Chioma with pure hatred. "What have you done? What was that?" "The poison of truth," Chioma said. "Now your power is broken. Now you are just a man." Chief Dubem tried to stand, but he could not. He was weak, shaking. Chioma did not waste time. She ran to the painting and pulled it off the wall. She opened the secret door and reached for the clay pot. It was heavier than she expected, but she dragged it out. Chief Dubem was crawling toward her now, trying to stop her. "No," he begged. "If you break that, everything I have built will collapse. Please, I will give you anything. Money, your womb, anything." "I don't want your money," Chioma said. "I want justice." She lifted the pot high and smashed it on the ground. It shattered into pieces. Inside was a thick black liquid, and floating in it were small objects that looked like seeds. But Chioma knew what they were. Wombs. Spiritual wombs of all the girls Chief Dubem had destroyed. As the liquid spilled onto the floor, Chief Dubem screamed. His body began to age rapidly. His skin became wrinkled, his hair turned white, his eyes sunk into his skull. He was aging years in seconds. "What is happening to me?" he cried, looking at his hands in horror. "You are losing everything you stole," Chioma said. "Every year of life you gained from those girls, every success, every penny, all of it is being taken back." Chief Dubem tried to crawl away, but he collapsed. His breathing became shallow. "Help me," he whispered. "Please, I don't want to die." Chioma looked down at him. This man who had destroyed so many lives. This man who had taken her womb and her future. A part of her wanted to watch him suffer. But another part, the part that was still the good girl her mother raised, felt pity. She knelt beside him. Where did you bury the womb spiritually? Tell me and I will call for help. Chief Dubem's eyes were closing. With his last strength, he whispered, behind the house, under the big tree. That is where the covenant was made. That is where everything is buried. Chioma stood up and ran out of the office. She ran downstairs and out the back door. There was indeed a big tree behind the house, an old mango tree with twisted branches. Chioma fell to her knees and began digging with her bare hands. The earth was soft, like it had been dug recently. She dug deeper and deeper until her fingers hit something. A cloth, a red cloth wrapped around something. Chioma pulled it out and unwrapped it carefully. Inside were photographs of all the girls, including hers, and underneath the photographs was a small wooden box. Chioma opened the box and gasped. Inside were small wooden carvings, each shaped like a womb. Each one had a name carved on it. Chioma found hers. She held it in her hands and cried. Just then she heard sirens, police sirens. Joy must have called them. Chioma quickly gathered everything, the photographs, the wooden carvings, the box, and ran to the front of the house. 2 police cars were pulling up. Joy jumped out of one of them. Chioma, are you okay? Chioma nodded, unable to speak. The police rushed into the house. Minutes later, they came out carrying Chief Dubem on a stretcher. He looked like an old man now, barely breathing. One of the officers asked Chioma, what happened here? Chioma showed them everything. The shrine in the office, the broken pot, the items buried under the tree. She told them about Akada and the other girls. She told them everything. The police were shocked. They had heard rumors about Chief Dubem, but no one had ever dared to come forward with evidence. Now they had everything. Chief Dubem was taken to the hospital, but he died before they even reached there. His body had aged so much that his heart just gave up. The news spread fast. Billionaire ritualist dies mysteriously. His house was searched and more evidence was found. Other girls started coming forward, telling their stories. Akada was arrested for trafficking. The whole scandal was all over the news for weeks. But for Chioma, the battle was not over. She went back to Mama Nkiro with the wooden carving of her womb. Can you restore it? She asked desperately. Mama Nkiru took the carving and examined it. Then she smiled for the first time. Yes, because you broke the covenant with his blood and destroyed the shrine, the spiritual bond is broken. Now we can call your womb back. That night, under the full moon, Mama Nkiru performed a final ritual. She buried the wooden carving in clean earth, poured libations, and prayed to the ancestors. Chioma stood in the center of a circle of white chalk, feeling energy moving through her body. It was hot, then cold, then hot again. She felt something shifting inside her womb, like something that was dead was coming back to life. When the ritual was finished, Mama Nkiru hugged her. It is done. Your womb has returned. Go and live your life. Chioma went back to school a different person. The maggots stopped. The smell disappeared. The pain was gone. She went to the hospital for tests and the doctors were amazed. Everything looks normal now, they said. We don't understand what happened, but whatever it was, it's over. Chioma graduated from university 1 year later. She became an advocate for young women, speaking at schools and churches about the dangers of ritual abuse and the tricks powerful men use. She started an organization to help girls who had been trafficked or abused. Her mother fully recovered and never knew the full truth of what happened. Chioma kept it that way. Sometimes late at night, Chioma still has nightmares. She sees Chief Dubem's face aging before her eyes. She sees the maggots. She sees the shrine. But then she wakes up and remembers that she survived. She fought and won. Her womb was restored, and someday, when the time is right, she will have children. And she will teach those children to be strong, to never let anyone take what belongs to them, and to fight for justice no matter the cost. The story of Chioma spread through whispers and warnings. Other girls heard it and learned to be careful. Some did not believe it. Some called it superstition. But those who had seen similar things, those who knew the darkness that existed in the world of the powerful and rich, they believed, and they became more cautious. As for Ada, she was sentenced to 5 years in prison for human trafficking. In prison, she had a lot of time to think about what she had done. She wrote letters to Chioma, begging for forgiveness. Chioma never replied. Some betrayals are too deep to forgive. The estate where Chief Dubem lived was demolished. The house where so many girls were destroyed was torn down. The land was cleansed by traditional priests and Christian pastors working together. A school was built there instead, a school for girls from poor families, a place of learning instead of a place of darkness. Chioma visits that school sometimes. She looks at the young girls running around, laughing, dreaming about their futures, and she smiles, because she knows that her fight was not just for herself. It was for all of them. Every girl who refused to be a victim, every girl who chose to stand up and fight back. This is where Chioma's story ends, but her message continues. If you are reading this, remember what happened to her. Remember that beauty and wealth can hide terrible evil. Remember that not every opportunity is a blessing. Remember to protect yourself, to trust your instincts, and to know that no amount of money is worth your soul, your womb, or your future. And if you know someone going through what Chioma went through, do not ignore it. Do not call them crazy. Listen to them. Help them, because these things are real. Spiritual warfare is real, and sometimes the only way to win is to fight back with everything you have. If this story touched you, if it opened your eyes, if it made you think twice about the choices you make, then share it. Let other people know. Let other girls be warned. Let other families be protected. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with everyone you know. Drop a comment telling us what you think and where you are watching from. This message needs to reach as many people as possible because knowledge is power and awareness is protection. Stay blessed, stay careful, and remember that your life and your future are too precious to gamble with. God bless you all.